Hello, everybody. I hope you're doing well. Happy Friday for those that are watching me live. And I hope that if you're having some inclement weather like we are today, you're staying warm, you're staying dry. And to everybody else, it's just great to see you. Apollo and I are wishing you all the best today. He's he's had a rough morning because of the rain, but the rain is an important part of things. And I actually had a really cool daily reading for today where the Three of Swords came through, and I reminded everybody that without the rain, we wouldn't get rainbows. So today we're going to be looking for all the opportunities for growth and some of the rainbows, hopefully, in the month ahead. When we put Apollo down and we'll get started together. As I said, my name is Nicholas Ashbaugh. We're going to be reading for the sign of Aquarius today. My readings are designed so you can always use it for Sun, Rising, Moon, and Venus. And you can stick around until the end where we kind of fine-tune a little bit on each of those. Great to have you here. If you like what you see, hit that like and subscribe. In the meantime, let's get straight into channeled messages. Channeled messages for me come primarily through dreams, but also through meditation. And you actually had some really interesting things that I picked up on this morning. Paramount among them was this ability to thrive through challenging situations and also move through a door that had been previously closed or blocked. And that's cool. And we're going to try to help you out through that today. The first piece that I got was a need to find a cohesive thread. So in my dreams, there was this sort of, whenever I see a teacher, it's a metaphor for a karmic lesson. So let's say there's a karmic lesson that's happening right now. Your higher self and your human form were kind of on stage for me, and I was watching this. So the higher self, the teacher, came through and it was ready to give a critique, and before it could basically even begin speaking, you kind of raised your hands and you said, you know what, I know what's wrong. It's lacking a cohesive vision. There's no common thread. Now, this, in the case of the dream, was like a project or a test or something that a teacher would normally grade. But in real life, this could sort of be the overall path that you're on, right? So the common thread that might be missing, for instance, could be, for some of you, a career path. And it's like, I've just been jumping from this job to this job to this job. None of them really connect. None of them make sense. Relationships can be very much the same thing. You keep finding a certain type, a certain sort of situation that presents itself. And like Apollo, it's like you're just digging and not finding anything with that situation. So whatever is missing today, we're going to try to help you with this. The Seven of Cups is very much what I picked up on here. When I was looking at the presentation, everything looked nice. But for instance, when think of like a home where there's usually a common motif, like a certain accent color or a certain theme, like mid-century, modern or something like that. Then there's places where you go and it's just like whatever. This was more like whatever. It was the kitchen sink. Everything looked good, but nothing really connected. So I think the opportunity right now is to increase your focus, reduce distractions, whether they're in your head, environmental, or just sort of like there's this feeling like you want to show you can do everything. Do less, but do it better. Editing is your friend, finding a common thread, and then allowing that to be the organizational piece that ties together everything. That would be my advice here. So finding the common thread is challenge number 1 for you this month. Now, here's the cool thing. No matter how you slice it or look at it, it looks like you have a chance to succeed. And you could succeed in many cases where other people have failed or who maybe they've given up. Because one thing that I've found in life is that persistence is the key here. Let's give Apollo a pet while he's persisting there in the background. I know, buddy. All right, so here's the way that I look at failure. It is only failure in the typical term, because I really think it's subjective. It's only failure if there's a lesson and you don't want to embrace the lesson. As long as you are learning, growing, and thriving, like I talked about in the daily card pull for today, as long as these things are happening, then you are succeeding, then good things are happening. Oftentimes a setback, a disappointment, it can often be the most pivotal situation in our life from which we can grow. So you don't get into the college of your choice, a job that you wanted to go for, it rejected you, a person that you were really kind of like pining after, they're not giving you the time of day. In this situation, what it does is it redirects your energy to focus on someone, something that may not only be more receptive, but may be more of a place where you can experience that soul growth that you were so desperately needing, or that on a higher level, the universe knew that this would be a better match for you. So in this moment in time, give yourself support, credit, and know that you can make it to the finish line. I saw that for you. You saw what you needed to edit, even in the dream that I had. So I think you can oftentimes thrive during a period of challenge. And what happens is you come out with this ability to be graceful and sort of have leadership when others would kind of just give up. So grace under fire, basically. No more closed doors. This is what woke me up this morning. I was watching as there was some sort of a party or event or something happening, and the door was closing, and in fact it pretty much had closed, and then I watched as someone pulled you through the closed door, not through the opening but through the door itself, as if through magic. To me, this represents either not either, there's a bunch of things it could be. It could be a second chance for some of you, a door that was closed but you got through it anyway. It could be a way through a perceived block, so a mental block that creates the illusion of a door, but really someone's saying, no, let's go through this. It could be a helping hand. Literally, we saw an ace, like one of the hands in, in Rider-Waite-Smith. So it could be one of those aces, an ace of swords saying, let's do this. There could also be a bit of a wake-up call because there was immediacy. The door's closing, let's go. You still made it through on time, but this is the month to take action. So if you've been dragging your feet on anything before, if you've been wondering like how, when, if I should do it, this is the time. Yes, you can, and the block is more of a perceived than an actual block. So some important pieces today to think about as we get ready for the forecast, which is what we're going to look at next. All right, so at this point, I'm going to shift to the overhead cam. We're going to take a look at the Celtic Cross. And a reminder, as always, as I said earlier, you can use this for your sun, your rising, and your moon. So good to see everybody today. I hope that your week has gotten off to a decent start, and your weekend is going to be great as well. All right, let's begin, folks. Truth is my teacher. Interesting, since I got that classroom sort of energy with you. So we'll definitely look at the karmic deep past and see what you can do with that. Talking about things needing to be edited, the right order definitely connects with that as well. Common theme over the past couple of days about being able to speak up and use the throat chakra came in for yesterday's reading in the health area. For you, it's coming through in wealth. Lots of energy whenever I'm looking at love this month about moving on, relationships here as well, and rejection is protection. And I'll be helping you with fear today as well. Let's take a quick scan of the cards themselves before I get into the catalyst. And I'm just looking at the overall trend for today. Couldn't get clearer that there's going to be some movement with two cards of transformation smack dab in the center. That ability to get through things, magician coming through as well. Your voice is pretty powerful here because we have the Queen of Swords and then a card with the throat chakra. Overall, a good outcome, a favorable outcome. So let's move through it. Let's figure it out, folks. We're going to start with the catalyst first. So it says, truth is my teacher. Sometimes we don't recognize the lesson though, right? And we may not understand that we have the ability to pass with flying colors. So an additional detail from my dreams, I I saw this other moment where it's almost like you didn't do well on a midterm. So all of these, I haven't been in school for a while, and I'm sure some of you have, it's been years and years. But whether you're in class or not, this really has more to do with the feeling of fear of failure. So fear in the destiny portion here is basically coming through, and we need to overcome the fear of failure. Sometimes the Ten of Swords can be a fear of failure. So what I got was that don't give up. There had been a failed midterm, but the teacher was like, yeah, I think you're like at a B minus C plus right now. So passing, and passing with a decent amount, coming back pretty well from a failing grade. So failing, again, being a perception or a subjective viewpoint. So I feel like you have so much potential, so much ability, and you're going to come back from the lesson at hand right now, and you're going to have a story to tell. There's an old Madonna song, If I Live to Tell. Yeah, you're going to live to tell, and you're going to have this sort of great chapter to your life that's going to be there to support you when things are difficult. When you have a rainy day or something, you're like, it's really not that bad. I've been through a lot worse. So this is good. This is a nice foundation, and the most important thing right now that I can kind of impart upon you is that if there's any frustration, some of you may just be doing great, but you're beating yourself up because you wish you did better. So there could be perfectionists out there. There could be some of you that literally missed a mark somewhere or an opportunity. This isn't the last one. That door might as well have been a revolving one. You have to just pick another moment to go through it. And that's one of the big pieces for today to keep in mind. All right, let's look at the two center cards. We'll start the Celtic Cross off now. Two cards that are dealing with death and movement and transformation. We have the movement card at the center. So the most important thing this month, Aquarius, is to keep on keeping on here, moving forward. The Six of Swords is the most active of the death and transformation cards. The death card is the most instantaneous of them. You put the two together and we see something that's going to happen pretty quickly, and then a lot of movement that happens because of that. So this is good. This is the central energy. You're being moved forward. That's what it's about. This is like Cliff's Notes. We're going to the point here, the conclusion here. And actually the other two conclusion cards. So this is the overall theme is movement. And then we have you discovering your abilities and your capacity to navigate through change and movement. And then we have celebration and a happy outcome. So it's good. I only have to see 3 cards to see the overall trend of it. It's good. The challenge here is, though, letting go, moving on, and sometimes just moving, because there's a comfort with being still. And I think I can remember, I can remember the first day of school. It's hard and it's a little scary. And I remember different time, because I moved too. So I would say the first day in a new school is the thing I remember the most, like in the 3rd grade, because I left all my friends behind. And I was in a new part of the country. Like when you move from the West Coast to the East Coast, it's a different vibe here, even in the US. So I was like, I don't fit in at all. And so that was hard, but I didn't have a choice. I was being moved by others. So sometimes you just have to get in the boat and see where it takes you, and trust that you're going to thrive. This is change for the better based on the cards that we saw. And this is a chance to kind of like, we see an old skin sort of there with this Grim Reaper card. So you can even see the mask right there. It no longer fits. You could try to put that mask back on, but it's not going to work. So there is an old version of you that wants to be released. There are new opportunities, new timelines, which are kind of opening up for you. And now you get to choose which one serves you, which one aligns to the highest purpose. And the common thread that we talked about earlier, that's going to be the important thing here. Because just like a pattern in a shirt that's pleasant, you have to find a theme that works for you. And if it's too chaotic, you don't know where to look. It's like the ugly sweater parties that people have around the holidays. Same sort of thing. We want to make it cohesive and find order in it. So let's see why you're being asked to change. Because to me, there's no question this month that some change will happen. You've got 2. All that's missing is the 4 of Swords. But other than that, we've got a lot of change coming through. So why is it happening? Where is it going to happen? What do you need to be focusing on? Well, here's the why. This is kind of going into the deep karmic past. 9 of Pentacles, independence. Some of you may have become so independent that the universe wants to kind of change it up a little bit and bring in a partnership. It could be work partnership, friendship, or a teacher, because that's what we got. So there could be someone that comes in and she or he would be very much like the Queen of Swords, actually, because truth has a way of being straight to the point and kind, because she's the upright Queen of Swords. So I get this feeling that some of you are calling in someone that's going to tell it like it is, to help you see what's possible, possibly even waking you up and helping you get to the 10 of Pentacles. So the 9 of Pentacles is a little lonely. The 10 is the antithesis of that. That's where you have friends, family, colleagues, resources. What you've been doing from probably the 6 of Pentacles to the 9 is proving to yourself that you can achieve balance, that you don't overextend yourself, that you've learned your lessons, and that you can do it on your own. The 10 of Pentacles is when you're not afraid to rejoin with the group, and you're not going to lose yourself in the group. That's the karmic lesson, folks. You can be yourself in a big group, and if the big group's missing, you don't need the group. So independence doesn't mean solitude. It's not the hermit. It's just knowing when to plug in, when to go off on your own. And that's kind of the karma that's coming through. On a different note, you've done the work. The 8 of Pentacles was the lesson. The 9 of Pentacles is reaping the rewards of the lesson. And for some of you, it's just simply not to quit, right? And so don't quit. That's also psychically what I got before I looked at any cards here. Don't give up. You're passing. May not be with an A+, but you're getting there, because in real life, we don't have semesters. We just have, you know how like Taylor Swift has eras. It's more like we have eras in our life. They can last weeks, months, decades, but that's kind of up to us and the lessons that we're learning. So your era will be done when it's done, and whatever you get in that grade is fine, but then a new era begins. And it's not like a typical report card. It's more like rings on a tree is what Spirit's showing me. Some years are a little meager, some years are really rich, some years you're just, trying your best to figure out what's going on. But it's the culmination of everything that kind of makes you strong and makes you who you are, just like a tree. All right, looking at recent past, you're not alone, or you're not going to be alone for long. We have the 6 of Cups coming through. 6 of Cups representing friends, family, loved ones, and in many cases, either someone from your distant past in this lifetime or a karmic partnership. This is karma and karmic partnership. 2 lifetimes, or 2 people from a past lifetime, death and death, basically, which is karma. When you're asking for a soulmate, that's what it is. It's someone that you've lived and died with before, and now you're going to experience that again. So karma's coming through. One of the lessons in karma is not to give up, to take a chance when it comes through, and to know that you can be yourself in a group of people. You're not going to lose yourself this time. Maybe you lost yourself head over heels in love. Maybe you felt like you gave up your path for someone else. This time you can be 2 wholly, what's the word I'm looking for? Not just fulfilled, but established individuals, okay? That's the opportunity here. There's an increased focus in this moment on friends, family, and possibly even children or community in your life. Definitely reaching out to others. And some of you may also be looking at your life like a wake-up call. I can relate to this. I don't really know where my Aquarius is in my chart, but I still understand this. This can be losing someone or transitioning into an important part of your life. When you lose someone or graduate or move into a new section of life, then you look at the 2 ends and you figure out, where am I? I'm not a kid anymore, but I'm also not that. So you're somewhere in between. So the 6 of Cups can represent your sort of timeline. And you're thinking, how much time? I like to always stress this. We don't never say life is short on this channel. Life is finite. There's a starting and ending point. And so what we try to figure out sometimes is, how am I tracking? And I think the more effective way to look at things is, if today were my final day on the planet, do I have regrets? Am I happy? What would I give myself? Because that's really what I was looking at, was you grading yourself. So what grade do you give yourself? What lessons would you like to still put out there? And then get to it. That's it. Some of you could also be having that sort of biological clock and thinking like, should I have a family? Should I start a family? It can also extend to fur babies like me. So maybe you want to bring in life in your life, however that might look. So let's move on to the next card though. Crowning position. It's one of the main things and challenges in this moment in time is about empowerment and sort of like trusting and owning that power. So we have the Emperor card in reverse. So there could be people coming in and they're asking you, are you sure you want to do that? Or what makes you think you can do that? Or they see you rising to the occasion and they may be jealous and they may try to kind of come in. What you're going to realize is, yes, I can do it. Yes, I'm capable. Yes, I'm ready. And you have to sort of like get that energy within so that when there's a challenge externally, it comes off without any sort of fear or anxiety, since that's one of the things we're looking at. And you can say, I've given it a lot of thought. Yeah, I'm very certain on this. There could be a father figure or a parental or teacher type figure, since we got that energy here, that comes through. And the interesting thing here is your truth is your teacher. So your path may differ from another person's truth because your North Star isn't the same as everyone else's. So there are certain things on this planet that we can all agree on, but when it comes to our own life and what serves us and our lessons and our experience and our growth best, only you can decide. What I'm picking up for you today is that that's the thing to focus on. And how you sort of like convey that to others, that's up to you. But your truth is your own. Your power is not a question. You're powerful and you're strong, but owning the power and standing up to challenge, that could be one of the lessons this month, okay? Yay for this card. This is so fantastic to come through in the near future. We have the Magician. I'll take the Magician upright or reversed. It's powerful, just like the High Priestess. The reversed Magician carries with it a couple of notes, namely that there could be distractions in your life. If we look directly beside the Magician here in the environment, the main distraction is the Five of Cups. Both cards are reversed. We have a nice matching of upright and reverse cards here today, so it's a pretty even month energetically. But with this reverse, it's saying focus not on what's lost, but what can be gained or what is in front of you. Why did you get here? How did you get here? Not so much that you are here. And sometimes we focus just more on this feeling of a lack. So that could distract you. Once you get beyond that and you think, all right, and by the way, this is also about limiting distractions. So you don't need to use all the tools. The Magician has everything, but it's like the Crayola crayons where there's 64 or 100 and whatever colors. You're not going to use all of them. It's good to have them there. You're probably going to use 6 to 8 of them or something, or maybe 10, to make the beautiful drawing. So this is about choosing your color, choosing your palette, choosing all that stuff well. And once you do it, just sticking to it, okay? So discernment and persistence is what the Magician wants to teach you. Plus, you can do it. Magic. You have to believe in yourself. In my book, I wrote, magic is a new truth waiting to be discovered. We call it magic because we don't understand it, and it seems like it's something that just came out of thin air, when in reality, it's just something we haven't yet wrapped our heads around. So your magic this month is your capacity to confound, complete, and really excel at doing something, but people are not going to understand why or how you're doing it, and they'll think that's magic. Or you can surprise yourself and you think it's just luck. Luck is a synchronicity that you've opened up for yourself, recognized and realized. So you can do this. That's the magic this month. So if you don't believe in yourself, I want you to work on trying. And as Yoda would say, it's either do or do not, there is no try. So really believe in yourself. When you start to believe, you start to see. When you start to see, you start to do. Okay. One of the ways that you can do this is through writing, through mantra, through speaking with others. This is the advice that I saw possibly coming through in the form of a teacher. But this is also you learning yourself what it is, that you have and your capacity. Queen of Swords, though, if we just look at her on face value, this is you this month. This is also, if I've ever seen an Aquarian card, this is an Aquarian card. So this is basically saying your voice, your actions, and the clarity with which you execute both is going to be how you can kind of get stuff done faster. You can do it. You came through as you this month, and people see you as one of the most powerful cards I could pull. I prefer the queens typically in tarot because they have the ability not only to lead, but also to nurture. Kings are good too. They're great. And if you're looking for money and just a yes, no, of course I want the king. But the queens are kind of where the magic happens because they can birth, they can create, they can nurture. And so this month, do all of that for yourself, but also realize that people see you as a leader, a doer, a nurturer, basically this ability to kind of make things happen. This is a great card for leadership. It's a great card for, even if you had to kind of navigate politics, it's coming through my head. It's not like, traditional politics per se, though it can include that. It can also be the politics of relationships, the politics in a job, of a certain sort of structures like schools and things of that nature. So you can circumnavigate, you can find a way around through communication. Pretty good, actually, for you. Here's the environment. This is one of the trickier cards that we need to look at. Five of Cups reversed. To me, more of a favorable placement, actually. So Five of Cups in reverse. They're actually focusing on what they can do. Okay, tried that didn't work. Someone said I couldn't do this. This person's not listening. But look at this. I'm seeing action in these two areas. I'm going to focus, okay? Someone's saying, I feel like I'm not making anything happen. Focus on something different. Even that thought in and of itself is limiting. What you want to think about is, I'm ready to make a change. I'm ready for things to start to work out. Stop with, I get it, I've been there. But when you focus solely on what isn't happening, you're reinforcing that it's not happening, and you're disbelieving in your energy and your magic. So take a deep breath and focus and think, what haven't I tried? Why isn't this working? Do I care that they don't care? Do I care that this isn't happening? Maybe I'm supposed to look at something else. Nothing's accidental. Nothing is not for your better good. That's a lot of double negatives. So let's put it this way. Life happens for your benefit, not to you as a bystander. So when you start to look at the stuff around you and you think, okay, where am I most effective? Where am I most powerful? Where can I manifest the best? That's when it starts to become more interesting, because it's like Neo in the Matrix. He starts to see the bullets before they come at him, and he stops them. He starts to see who's sending them, and he stops that. You start to go to source energy rather than reacting, rather than putting a Band-Aid on it. Okay? Okay. So, listen to the signs, people. All right? We have the Page of Wands, which is about focusing on what's going on around you, listening to what's worked well for others. So inspiration, take inspiration as one of the teachers this month. This is one of the best Page of Wands, isn't it? He's really kind of just tuning in. A lot of times pages are too busy doing. So, the Page of Wands upright can just be someone who's out there making things happen, very sort of, organizational management sort of energy, but not really tuning in. So this page is saying, okay, why and how did it work for you? So reading a book, reading someone's story, how did they make it work? Listening to a podcast, listening to a friend's advice, and then discerning for yourself, like, what is it that I want to take away from this, and what can I do about it? So I want everybody in chat that keeps saying that they don't have power, that they don't believe in themselves, to just don't type that right now. And I want you to pause and think, today I'm opening up to my power and to my potential. I'm going to focus on where the openings are, because there are always openings. When it's raining, I have a little app on my phone and watch that will tell me when I can take Apollo for a walk. There are breaks even in the rain. Things seem constant, but they ebb and flow. So we're looking for ebbs and flows. You have a powerful month. Don't deny yourself the opportunities in front of you. Ask for help. We've got the 10 of Cups. You're in a safe space here, so I'm glad you showed up. The 10 of Cups is a great energy of community, friendship, and again, tapping into the store of knowledge that's out there. This is also saying have some fun in life. Whenever we get, we didn't, this is the first Cups card that's kind of, no, 6 of Cups and the 5 of Cups. The 6 of Cups is more focused, though, on what people need from you, or it's kind of connecting with people. But this one is truly saying, I'm going to go out and I'm going to really celebrate and connect with like-minded, like-hearted individuals. It may be where and how you find your Six of Cups connection. And you can start to build new experiences from there. This is about rebuilding, exploring, and also, what's the best word that I can use for this? But harnessing. Yes, harnessing and cultivating your power and your energy. And one thing that is important to think about is everything comes with practice. So the same thing is true of skills and spirituality and sports. You practice. The more you practice, the more you perform, and the more you perform, the closer you are to like perfect. So practice makes perfect, but it's really just practice. The practice brings the power. And that's how I would reframe it, because it isn't about being perfect. It's about finding your power. So through practice, you're going to find your potential and your power, and that's going to move you forward. Let's expand this and go a little bit deeper, starting with the energy of health first. We'll look at health, wealth, love, and destiny. Health is the first energy that I'm going to explore. Standard disclaimers apply. I'm not a substitute for a doctor, therapist, or financial advisor, but I am here to help you see your power, the energy in front of you, and look and see what doors might be able to be opened up. So this is nicely connected to my message at the beginning. Let's bring it up for just a half step. While I'm doing that, we'll pull the card up. It's basically right order. And I was talking about how how discombobulating things can be if you see things all over the place like this, right? There's nowhere to focus sometimes when this happens. So let's go back to my messages earlier. We're going to look at the slide that was around the Seven of Cups. And when we were looking at this Seven of Cups message, it basically said, increase focus, reduce distractions, edit down whatever it is that you're working on, and find the common thread. Because in this particular illustration, it's very hard to see the common thread. It's disorder, right? And so chaos really comes through to help us decide how can we make a choice that's healthier for us, all right? This could represent the family situation you're in, the person you're trying to talk to. This, if I was looking at someone's mind and it was this, I would say, no more caffeine today, meditate, get some sleep, come back to me tomorrow when everything's calmed down, because this is everything. It's almost like rush hour traffic. So I think one thing, if I'm looking at your energy and I'm getting rush hour traffic, some of you may be in rush hour traffic, some of you may just be sort of decompressing from the week. And the most important thing you can do is just breathe, be present, one step at a time, and to kind of reduce some of the mental clutter. Each of us can do that in our own unique way. Gardening, cleaning, meditating, exercising, singing, dancing, I don't care. Anything that's an outlet that's productive, preferably, and that's going to help you out. Let's look at the cards now and see what additional messages are coming through, okay? So, change. I think this is why this is happening. This is a lot to process. There could be two rapid changes happening in succession, and that can be a lot to process mentally. So I get it, I understand it, take it a step at a time, and all the stuff we just talked about will help you there. Some of you may have spent more than enough time sort of working on something and it's closer to completion than you think. So this is also about letting go a little bit, stepping back. These two cards, the 6 and the 10 of Cups, will help you through the distraction of the 5 of Cups. So talk to some other people, see what's going on, get out into the world at large. It will help you. Listening to yourself, listening to your intuition, listening to the wisdom of others. Slow down long enough to listen. And for some of you, that means that there's too much, like sometimes we just try to keep, for instance, my mom who's passed, but she would never not have the television on. So in a typical day, I'm okay with periods of silence. I like to listen to sometimes public radio. I currently don't have a TV. I need to buy one, but I had to get rid of mine during the moves. So the only time that I can watch something on a screen is usually at nighttime when I just pull out my iPad and catch up on something. But I never liked the constant sound. My dad was the same way. It would, for him, maybe be sports or the radio or whatever. So sometimes we have to stop the external feedback long enough to hear what's going on here. And sometimes that's what we're trying to drown out. So I feel like taking time to see what's going on and ask for help if you need it. Talk to a counselor, talk to a friend, talk to a doctor. It's cool, it's good. It's part of the mind, body, spirit. I put them all here together. Mental health is part of that. Without that, it's like our CPU. So this is like our engine, this is our CPU, and this is the automobile. If we're not taking care of it, it's not gonna work. It's gonna misfire. So take care of that as well. This is also about what you're putting into your energy system, how sensitive you are. So if you're feeling some of these distractions, really focus on who you're surrounding yourself with, what you're putting into your mind, your body, etc. And that's pretty much it. It looks like, I will say this, some of you may need to move a little bit. This is stagnation, and this is the antithesis of stagnation. So whatever your body allows you to do to move, move. Some of you might be dealing with a loss or a massive change, 2 changes maybe. Children, this can be children. This can be moving in with someone, having a baby, big life changes. This is marriage. So that can also be part of this. So a death of an old self, a beginning of a new self. So it can be figurative, it can be literal, but the changes are the biggest sort of adjustment for many of you. All right, let's move on to wealth. Someone keeps posting in my comments, how about covering career? This is career, folks. It's resources, life purpose, and career. So let's take a look and see what the card is about career, and it's using your voice. Speak your truth. We have Archangel Gabriel coming through here, and let's look at this real quick. So if the card is reversed, some of you may feel like you're either afraid to speak your truth, or you may be negating or underestimating how your truth may resonate with others. All you can do is sort of put out there what needs to be put out there, as long as you do it with care, with thought, and then being concise and clear. That's all you can really do at the end of the day. Let's see what's coming through opportunity-wise when it comes to your career, and we'll go from there. Some of you may be deciding to work in a more coaching or mentorship role. So truth is my teacher, you may be sharing the lessons of your life. Some of you have survived a really challenging situation and you're gonna thrive, as I said earlier. You can take something and really rebuild from it. Embrace the energy of change because it is the central heart and theme of today's reading. I feel pretty good about resources in the long run, so I'm not so concerned about that. What I'm more concerned about is, do you have a sense of fulfillment where you're at? The 5 of Cups could be staying for the wrong reasons, or fearing change because you don't want to lose something. You're afraid of losing something. So I see here someone who can take care of themselves, who can connect with others, who has power but may not always have been told that. And once they can bring those sort of like skills together, then the sky is the limit. Networking is the most important thing you can do this month if you're still in a working capacity, because your next opportunity comes from that. And also, even if you're staying in a current job or situation, it's more about word of mouth. It's how you connect with others, not necessarily or not exclusively your skills. And from the perspective of a hiring manager, like I used to hire people, it would be kind of a meshing of 3 different things. Growth potential, and I would say one thing that I looked at the most was how much the person I thought could grow and really wanted to be a part of the company or the team. So growth potential was really important. Of course, skills, but skills were almost like what you just needed to get in the door. So skills are the common denominator. So the things that topped you past the skills would be how interested and how engaged you were and how well you connected to others. So yes, there was a lot of subjective pieces that were there, but that's what made the day-to-day stuff sort of plug in. So all things equal, we would pull from an equally talented pool, and then you would find the ones that were the most interested, the most interesting, the most engaged, and had the most potential. And that's how you can stand out, is basically to show that. So ask compelling questions, connect on a heart level with people around you. Show what sets you apart. What's your passion? What's your hobby? What's your true desire? And listen. Listen to nonverbal cues. All of these things can help you excel at an existing job, at a future job. For those of you that are retired, I see a lot of mentorship and teaching energy coming through in this read. and possibly a desire to just really plug into the community at large. Helping people that may have been feeling left out. 10 of Cups in reverse is outside looking in. Maybe even accomplishing everything that you think will get you to this popular group, but it's not. So it's basically reaching out to those people that feel like they're on the sort of outside. And that's what I'm seeing here. Your leadership and your experience coming through loud and clear. So I'm not so nervous about this. It's more owning it, believing it. And I saw it in chat today, people saying that they don't believe in themselves. So reprogram. That doesn't happen overnight. All I can show you is the cards, and all I can say based on the cards is believe in yourself. You can choose to believe or not to believe. That's your power. And that's part of your power, believe it or not. All right. If there's a problem, speak up. If there's something that's wrong, speak up. If you have an idea, speak up. If you have a question, articulate it. Are we seeing a theme here? That's also going to help you stand out and help you be more singular in a pool of sameness. Okay. Let's move on to love and relationships. Romantic, platonic, friends and family. The card that came through for relationships here is rejection. And as I say, and one day we'll probably put on a merch, rejection is a form of cosmic protection. It's coming through like this so that the artist can reconsider what he's doing. Okay, they didn't like that, and this isn't working. What else can I try? It doesn't mean that I don't have value. It means that there might be a different way for me to connect. Rejection in our lives forces us to look within and look around. And the page card is also asking you just to kind of listen. What is it really why is this rejection happening? One thing that I will say, once upon a time when I first started TikTok, I found this little quote from Dolly Parton where someone was asking her like what her advice was, because a lot of country songs have to do with being heartbroken or whatever. She said, like, what would you do to get your man back? And Dolly was like, nothing. She said, if somebody doesn't love me, then I deserve better. And so I would do nothing. And I love that. I love that. She loved herself more than someone who wouldn't love her. So perfect. Thank you, Dolly, the teacher today. So she's like, it's not rejection, it's clarity. You're really getting to, now I'm saying this, that wasn't Dolly. I can piggyback off of that. And what you're really getting is clarity into their soul. And you're going to save yourself a timeline where the two of you would have been wasting time. Life is finite. Use it to the max. Don't waste time with people who don't care. So in my channel, one of the topics I'll not cover is how to get someone back. It's not the purpose here. The purpose is how do I find people that are going to stick around for the long haul? How can I work on an existing relationship where someone wants to work on it with me? Yeah, these are good things. But if someone's already checked out, you're better off and there's better things coming. So let's look at the cards here. And we're going to look at 3 different perspectives. Those in love, looking for love, or single and happy. So if you're in a relationship, there's one of 3 things. The first thread that I'm reading, because there's a lot, but the first is just that it's karma. You've known each other before, you know each other again. Don't give up this time, because there might have been that sort of, either maybe you were cheated of time in the past or someone left. This time you're staying. And it's very in alignment with what I was talking about with Dolly Parton. Listening is going to be the key challenge also karmically in this lifetime. All right, so that's one thing, soulmate energy. Another thing is some of you have gone through a pivotal change, addition of a child, new marriage, new living situation, loss of a parent, and you have to still work on listening and knowing that you can't tell the person how to live their life and you're not their mother or their father. So it's basically just loving and supporting each other, talking, open communication, speak, listen, etc. I have a friend that we use a chat app where we do voice memos, and it's so much easier to kind of like really be present for them because we have to listen to each other versus a real-time conversation. So maybe something like that can work out too. So you're forced to hear the person out rather than interrupt. Because I saw the interruption, and that could be a piece that needs to be worked on. Okay, now for those of you that are, there was a third thread here, and some of you are unraveling in a relationship. It's time to move on. There's a lot of love. You've worked really hard to get where you're at, but you're in different places. So you'll be fine. This can be, this doesn't have to be difficult, acrimonious, or tough. It can work out if you want to decouple. All right. So there's a lot of energy coming through for current partnerships. If you're looking for love, the dust needs to settle. You're probably going to pull in a karmic partnership. You're going to feel it energetically. You won't need a dating app. You won't need me, and you won't need a tarot card. You'll know it or you won't. When you see someone's like, I feel it or I don't, there's no questions asked with that. Being able to see around your environment is key, because there's something that's distracting. So when you remove the distraction, you start to pick up on someone that's trying to get your attention. Okay? It comes from a gathering, not an app. So it's networking or a gathering, and it's karmic, and there's energy, and it's easy to recognize, and you don't need tarot cards to figure out if they're the right one. All right. If you're not looking for love, single and happy, it's a good month for you. Major changes can happen. Big shifts. You've been trying to finish something, you finish it. You've been trying to move a relationship to the next level, it naturally goes there. You start to get new inspiration on things to do. The only thing that holds you back is fear, maybe distraction in the environment, trying to do too much for too many people, or underestimating your power. But you have what it takes. And these are things that you can manage day to day to varying degrees of success. All right. And that's everything. So let's move on now to destiny. Destiny, of course, comprises your current movement and trajectory. There's a lot of changes. Every month it shifts. And this month, the thing that is holding you back or distracting you is fear. It says, I realize I am testing my resolve to live in the energy of love. I realize that I am testing my resolve to live in the energy of love. Some of you are afraid to love again. Some of you are afraid to love for the first time. Some of you are afraid that you won't be loved. Some of you are having a hard time loving yourself, because that's where it all starts. So as we look at all the cards, love is here for sure. And it's coming through again for some of you. The good news is it is ending on positive notes when we look at the cards. Magic and 10 of Cups. Magician and 10 of Cups. So if you feel it, if you believe in it, if you give it a shot, like the Carly Simon song, it's coming around again. There's a second shot here. All right. Let's look at the big idea, and then we'll dig a little deeper into sun, rising, and moon. All right. So the big idea this month hopefully can help all of us focus on how to really remove fear. And to kind of make the most of the power that's coming through. So let's see what the big idea is. Two of Wands. Envisioning, vision work. The card was reversed, but let's look at it upright. So the birds in this particular deck represent incoming messages. And even though we're looking at the Two of Wands, this can be spirit coming through your guides, your higher self. So the messages are incoming. It's also what you're putting out into the universe as well. It's kind of interesting that he's tethered to the two wands. Do you notice that? So if we look at his foot and his arm, or his wrist, they're both tethered to the two wands. The traditional Two of Wands would be a person looking at the globe and really kind of figuring out, like I said with the Six of Cups, how to bring into fruition what's coming through in their mind. So this is a moment for you to untether yourself and say, all right, I need to get out there in the real world and breathe some life and some energy into this. You get to change your mind is what I'm going to interpret from the tethering in that. Here's your traditional Two of Wands. He's got the globe. He's got the wands. We see growth. We see the future state of the Three of Wands where the ships are coming in. And two things could happen here. One is simply saying, I decide. I see it and I decide and I believe it. The other thing is I'm allowed to change. I'm not tied to what I was before. At each age and stage of our life, we get to mix it up a little bit. So you get to mix it up a little bit if you want to. And that's where your power comes. The final thing, and this is what I've been kind of really harping on in the chat a bit today, believing is seeing. If you believe in yourself, you'll be able to see something through. You'll be able to see opportunities. You'll be able to receive more from Spirit. If you keep saying that you don't believe, then it will be harder for Spirit to work with you. Good things can still happen. I'm a positive person at my heart and soul, but it makes it harder. Why make it harder? The whole movement and the whole purpose this month was trying to make some traction, right? So transformation comes through and says, let's change this up. Let's mix it up a little bit. Let's dig deeper and take a look at sun, rising, and moon messages and see what the opportunity is. All right. We got the third transformation card. Suffice it to say, changes. I'm going to say that no matter what this month, whatever has been blocking you, this is for all, sun, rising, moon, and all aspects. Whatever has been blocking you, let it go. That block doesn't exist. The door doesn't exist. Remember my channeled messages. You can go through the door. The block is here right now. The block is here. The block is energetically, but it's no longer environmentally. And if you need someone to help you get unblocked, reach out. There was a helping hand. Okay? Important. Let's look at the sun sign messages first. This is a really synchronistic reading. In the sun, we got the sun. And in this sun, we have twins. Okay, so quick note, if you're trying to get pregnant, there's a potential for twins. If you're trying to launch something, there's a chance for a spin-off. There's a couple of things that want to come through at once. Also, if you're looking for love, the sun card is often two lovers with the sun behind them. And this is two lovers reborn, two babies. And we got all that twinning energy. This is two lifetimes that have been passed. So that's two lovers in the past. This is twin energy, more fraternal twin than anything. But it can be twins, and this is twins again. So call it whatever you want. I don't really use twin flame. I like to think of stars. So twin stars, past life, karmic energy, and it can come in many forms. That's one of my soulmates back there, Mr. Apollo, right? It can be a child, a lover, a parent, a friend. But partnerships are going to play an important part. There's a second one coming in for those of you that are Aquarius sun. So not just one, but two people that are shaking things up a little bit. Not just one delivery when it's a project, but two. Not just one opportunity, but another door that opened. So keep me posted, but there's something in twos that's going to be magical, and it could even just be on the twos of the month. So look at the even days. Something magical could be happening on the even days. But that's one thing that I'm picking up on. The sun is also about our own ability to come forth and let go of something. Sun reversed, overdue. And also sun reversed is rebirthing and also taking care of yourself. So this is a chance to reinvent, rebirth, reimagine something. And that's all of the message for the sun signs. Pretty good overall, I have to say. One thing with these two cards, it's kind of like the students become the teacher as well. So this is a parental figure that kind of only wants to see you in that childlike role, but you'll be fine. And this is a victorious card. The baby's riding it on the horse typically. In this one, interesting side note before I go to the next thing, lots of synchronicities. What is she doing? Look at that thread. She's weaving. She's figuring out the common thread. Someone else can help you find the common thread. Okay, it could be the twin, could be the teacher, could be your higher self, but the common thread. Figure out how it's all interconnected. Don't just do something for the sake of doing it. Moving from sun to the rising messages. Rising, Aquarius rising, you have the biggest opportunity for change. You have the tower. Don't fear the tower. The tower is an opportunity to really make something go. Look at the lightning there, okay? So here's what a tower moment can also feel like. It doesn't have to just be like, oh my God. It can be lightning striking, inspiration striking. Where else is the lightning? On the magician, folks. Magic. He's not focusing though. So he needs to focus to receive. So we've got the lightning on top of the magician there, inspiration. This could simply, and look at how many 3 lightning strikes. So some of you are trying to focus between so many things that the Tower is more indicative of the lack of focus and maybe the inaction on things. I understand that. I'm trying to do a lot of things at once, and it's hard, right? I'm trying to launch a project. I'm trying to get moved into a place. I'm trying to do a lot of other little things, and I get it. And even like get some furniture because I haven't done that, so I get it. So I'm going to take a note from you as well, Aquarius rising, and get organized. And that's really what this is, prioritize. Interestingly enough, on this one, someone wants the people to stay in the Tower. Look at this particular illustration. I always love a reinterpretation. So these people had the common sense to get out. A couple people at the top didn't, and there's someone trying to push them. So the last piece of the Tower is, if you're in a sinking ship, get out. And if someone doesn't want to work with you, doesn't want to listen to you, use your time and energy in a place where it will be appreciated, because you can save yourself going through that. Okay? But I see the transformation energy at the center kind of working in tandem with that. So death and the 6 of Swords, the movement, the change, and then all this cool growth with relationship to money and resources and people coming into your life. Okay? Let's move from rising to moon. Moon. You have the 3rd transformation card. So we got death and 6 of Swords at the center. Now we have 4 of Swords. For you, this is going to say, this basically bodes well. The 4 of Swords is exactly as it looks. It's a little bit more relaxing, although the wolves here don't really. But, typically, this is a card where you see a sepulcher or a coffin, and it's about putting something to rest, moving on. It's peace, it's sleep, it's relaxation as well. So one of the things that I'll say for Moon is if you can give yourself a chance for proper self-care this month. This is also when the magic happens. I like to get more rest. That's part of the reasons that I moved my readings a little later. I'm better. The quality's better. I can sleep and dream more. And I come to the readings like with a whole new energy. I'm sure you've noticed it this month. And that's because I gave myself more sleep. And I get to call the shots because it's my schedule. So if there's any place in your life where you can do that, just sometimes when I was like a regular working job, it would just be go to bed earlier. Go to bed at 9 o'clock instead, or 8 o'clock. If I can't control when I start, I can at least control when I go to bed. So make sure you're getting enough sleep and enough rest. Put something to rest in your life. Let it finally go this month, and it will give you the peace of mind that you need. Or it's going to be the beginning of the healing. Okay? There could also be something in your life where there is inaction. And the important thing here would be just taking the first step and setting one step at a time. I'm looking at this card and we can see like the one little shoe with the candle in it. It's really intending what that first step is going to be. So some of you are looking looking for a way on how to sort of jumpstart the system. It's just take the first step that's the most compelling, the easiest, and where you'll see the biggest return on investment. So it's a good month overall. Lots of movement, new people coming in, decent amount of resources. The main thing is the fear of change, the fear of movement. But what we saw overall was this ability to have multiple inspiration and opportunities sort of like entering into your life. And for some of you, finally being able to move on. So I like what I see for you. Let's take a moment now and get ready to meditate. If you have one final question for me, write it down and save it. At the very end, we'll have a moment to look at all of that. The meditation today is going to be to help you find your power, to help you find your strength. Take a moment, please, if you will. Close your eyes. Breathe in, let go. And I'd like you to focus on the rising sun, really connecting with its brightness, its warmth, and its heat. And if you're like me in a rainy climate today, or if it's snowy, or even if it is a sunny day, just focus on the meditation. Imagine that it is the best day of the year, whatever that day is for you. You can see the sun rising and you are connecting with it. And as you breathe, you can see 7 rays of light connecting with the 7 main energy centers in our body. And you can see several other rays wrapping around your body, creating this cocoon-like energy, which is opening you up from the top of your head to the tips of your toes, clearing out any of the cobwebs, and it's helping you see the potential. So for those of you that don't believe. You are powerful, you are worthy, you are ready. Now that you know this, you can see opportunities on the horizon, like the Three of Wands. Decide which opportunities are calling to you. Each of you will be drawn to something different. Breathe and see what your higher self brings through, and then we'll take a look at your final question. Take a deep breath. Feel that warmth and energy course through every vein in your body. And in this moment, I want you to know that just like the magician who is able to channel inspiration, divine guidance, and basically embody that on this planet, so can you. And the question really is how you're going to do that. That's your choice this month. I'd like you now to turn your attention to whatever final question you have for me, and let's take a look and see what the cards have to say. If you haven't opened your eyes, please do so. And focus simply on being open to receive guidance in the highest form. We have Knight of Pentacles, a nice resource card, a resource card that carries with it the energy of movement. And this is what it shows here. So we have the squirrel on this one, which I love. For some of you, you may have forgotten about something that you quote unquote squirreled away or stored away. So this is showing me that there could be a resource that you could tap into that's closer than you think, that may be right under your nose, or maybe just ripe for the picking, because a squirrel is pretty good at going out and finding things. So your ability to seek, to rediscover, and also simply to go out there and be nimble is going to be important. I see squirrels all the time in my neighborhood, so I'm always amazed at how they can go up the trees and spiral around and jump, and they have a pretty good agility too. So I think that your ability to move in real time, to react in real time, and to basically pull a lot of energy and a lot of resources in, it's setting you up for a really good month in that respect. Knights move the energy forward. So again, acting and deciding and moving forward with something is key. As a yes or a no question, this is a yes. It's an affirmative. Yes, and move forward. There's immediacy with this, okay? I do like the Knight of Pentacles and also the squirrel here in particular because it can grab hold where others can't. So you can seize an opportunity that others wouldn't have the grasp or the ability to maximize. So lean into that, and it's going to be a good month. Overall, I like what I see, okay? The hardest part for you is just dealing with change. And change is inevitable in life. We can't hold on to something forever. We're constantly moving. So the only constant is change, and the power for you comes in embracing that. And the second big power comes in believing that you can do it, and that you're actually tracking better than you think, and that you kind of already know how to solve something. So give yourself a lot more credit than some of you have been. And for the rest of you, just move forward. It'll be all right, okay? Thank you so much for letting me be a part of your morning or evening. I do appreciate it. If you like what you see, we are so close to a milestone. I think we might get there in a month. So if we can get to 350,000, I will do a special Q&A where I take member questions and Patreon questions. And if I might open up membership on a couple other platforms, but I'll take member questions. And that's always fun. So hit the subscribe if you haven't already. We're super close. Follow me on social if you want to make sure. I saw someone saying they didn't know what was coming up. Follow me on social, and that way you'll get reminded if you miss something. By the way, click on the streams, or it's actually called live. Click on the live tab on the main YouTube channel, and it shows upcoming live streams. I'm trying to get the next 3 always out there, so you know. If you want to show love and support, you can do it through Super Sticker, Super Chat, and membership. And remember, I don't give private readings, and I don't send direct messages, just a good heads up. All right, I'd like to take a moment now to give thanks to anybody who was able to give back today. Again, I want to thank everybody for showing up. But if you became a member today, I'm going to take a moment just to say thanks, and then I'll say thanks for the super stickers, and then we'll wrap up. Reminder that I'll also be here on the weekend, so I hope you can join me then on Sunday as well. There's a little question that I put out there for everybody on topics, so if there's one that you haven't seen me do, comment on that post. All right, so for today, I'd like to say thank you to Kit N, to B, to Kitty, and LS. I think those are all the newest members from this morning, and it looks like there were a couple of other ones that joined, Truth Seeker, Deshonda, Leslie as well. Thank you so much. All right, super stickers and super chat. Let me see who came through in this reading. We have about 3 different people. Adele, J9, Zach, and Katya. Thank you guys so much. I really appreciate it, and I hope that you got what you needed out of today's reading. Lots of love and light from me to you. I'll see you again every day for the daily reading, every Sunday for the weekly collective, and on Mondays, Thursdays, and Fridays for our monthly readings. I'll be doing Pisces on Monday. All right, guys. Take care of yourselves. See you soon. And until the weekend, be good. Bye-bye.